This is WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
More than chaos.
War. Fear. War. Fear.
We can work with fear.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. I made it back from my business trip, which is awesome. Really glad to be back with you all. Up there, everybody knows Pookie. Say hi, Pookie.
Hey.
Good to be back. Good to be back. You know, I just did some time. I was up in Amarillo, so I left the Fort Worth Metroplex, and it was like, I don't know, 85 or so during the day, and I got to Amarillo, woke up my first morning there. It was like 36 freaking degrees, and guess who didn't bring anything more than a hoodie? This guy.
You've lived in Texas long enough to know better.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I'm back. I'm back at least for a while. Got some trips coming up, but those are all still up in the air. It's great to be back. Did you guys catch Sergeant's Time last night? What a fun show, dude. Cinco de Mayo, dude. We had Ice. Ice has got some pipes, man. He sang. He sang for everybody. He's wearing a sombrero, celebrating the Cinco de Mayo. So here I am. I was like, okay, bro, I'm gonna do May the Sith. I was gonna do a Sith thing, but I guess they do the Sith thing on the 5th. You got May the 4th, and then they do the Sith thing on the 5th. But I thought it was 6th because 6th and Sith is more closely related than
Me.
So when I started looking for some graphics to use, I'm on Google and I'm like, oh shit, I guess I missed it. So I didn't do anything to celebrate May 6th. So it's just another day, but it is Friday, and it is time for Friday Night Freedom. So Monday was a crazy day because it was like my first day back to work at like here where I live. And so there's a lot to catch up on. It was a really late day, so I left work at like 7:30 p.m., which is late. It was a 14-hour day. So I'm like, I don't feel like cooking, so I'm gonna pull into fast food and grab something to eat. And so I went to McDonald's. I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time. So I pulled into McDonald's, got a Big Mac fries, whatever the Big Mac meal is, and brought it home. First thing I noticed was, I think the Big Macs are smaller. They just seem smaller. They don't seem to fill the container like they used to. Maybe it's just me.
I just don't get ice.
No, I'm not talking about the drinks. I had a Coke with the meal. I drank like maybe a couple of sips out of it, and I dumped the rest. I don't drink a lot of sodas.
I thought McDonald's Sprite be hitting on a different level though. I don't go to McDonald's for anything any more than Sprite. That's it.
Damn.
That's it.
Drink Sprite usually if I've had too much beer the night before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a good hangover cure.
So anyway, I went to McDonald's, and on the bag, they're advertising, and you guys have to see this. I was like, this is crazy. I took a picture. So, a lot of these fast food restaurants have like their apps. McDonald's has an app, Taco Bell has an app, Jack in the Box has an app. But I don't eat enough fast food to determine whether this is a thing or not. Maybe you folks out there in the audience know. I don't. So here is this is it. This is my bag. It says, no more wallet shuffling. Link your card. Earn points, redeem deals, and pay fast. All at the same time. McDonald's wants you to put your financial information on their little... They want... It seems like, you register, I guess, you get the app, and then you put your debit card or credit card information in there?
No, for apps like that, I always use PayPal.
Can you do that?
A lot of them, yeah. A lot of them you can. You use what is it? Google Pay. Google Pay I actually use as a debit card now. I don't even need to carry my debit card with me. I could just tap my phone up against the things, and it'll most of them will read the information. I can pay via my phone at that point.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm ready for the okay boomer responses now, because okay. I mean, I do have Samsung Pay on my phone that I never use.
That's a good one too. Samsung Pay is actually really. I mean, it's good to have on your phone. I always what's at the end. What's that? I gotta look at it now. It's NF. What is it called? NFC. I keep it disabled on my phone because security reasons and stuff like that. But if I need to use it, all I gotta do is activate it, and I can just tap.
Yeah, every time I go to Home Depot, and I go there a lot, and I open up their app to get my veteran discount QR code when I'm checking out, my Samsung Pay app launches, and you can get get 8.2% back with Samsung Pay. You're using Samsung Pay with your purchase.
No.
So okay, so this is a thing. All right, I just thought it was weird that McDonald's wants your financial information, so you can just pay with your phone. You just pay with your phone number or whatever.
They've been doing this for years, though. That like at one point in time, I think back in 2006 time frame, 2007, my keychain had about 50 rewards cards on it.
Right? Yeah, I think I had the same keychain.
And they started that, and my buddy's like, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, "Well, sometimes I save some money." And it's like, "Yeah, so the government can keep track of everything you're buying because that's pretty much what they're doing." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm saving 5 cents. I don't care."
And I've got a CVS tag, but I don't need to use it because when I check out, they just what's your phone number? Okay, cool.
Yeah. You know what? CVS could drop their prices in all their stores if they just shorten that damn receipt a little bit. As much paper as they print off. I mean, you could sail a boat with the freaking CVS receipt.
Yeah, Sin over on the YouTube chat says Specs. I guess you're talking about the liquor store, right?
Specs.
Yeah, we got a Specs Wine and Spirits, SPECS. It's awesome because they've got any kind of alcohol that you want there, but they also have a tremendously awesome snack section.
Oh, that's kind of like a Total Wine and More kind of thing.
I think it's bigger and it's better. They have more. There's more there. You can walk into Total Wine and More, and their whiskey aisle is one row. You go into Specs, and it's
the one here at the beach. I walk down the whiskey aisle, and they've got everything you can think of.
Yeah. I haven't been.
That's where you're at.
Last time I was at Specs, I bought a bottle of cognac that was signed by 50 Cent.
No, I am 20. I just want to browse products. Leave me alone. I don't need to be.
Oh, are you 21? Then you go, no, and then it takes you to Barney.com.
They sell cheese at this place?
Oh my gosh, man. They have such good snacks. They have a whole section for flavored pistachios. It's really good. They got some bomb ass snacks, man.
Yeah, the Total Wine and More. I like going there because they have this huge cigar section in there too. Because I like smoking my cigars and stuff like that. I got this one right here. I've been waiting to smoke it. It's Maker's Mark.
Oh.
And yeah, that's I'm waiting for the 4th of July. Man, I'll smoke it then. But
okay, Sin's asking me, how did the cognac taste? I haven't opened it yet. I haven't opened it yet. It's still sitting on my shelf.
That's one thing that I treat that as kind of like a super specialty drink. I rarely drink it, but when I do, I love it.
So that's it. So I got back. that was my Monday adventure. The thing is, nothing happens to me. I'm really like a no. I mean, nothing happens to me, and I'm really fucking happy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. The least that happens to me, the better off I am. I got some Carolina Reaper peppers growing in my garden right now, and I'm happy. That's it. That's my news.
That's your news.
I got some Carolina Reapers growing, and that's gonna be great.
I grew for 2 years in a row. I grew jalapenos, and they decided not to come around again this year. I had the same plant. The thing is, I left them outside too long.
Yeah.
And it froze. It froze really, really hard, and that
you
plant
trim them back and pull them out and cut the root base out.
I don't cut the root base out, which I should. I read that you should do that. You know,
it's about take about a third of the root base off to repot it, huh?
Yeah, but I trim it back like all the way. There's like maybe 5 or 6 inches sticking up above the soil. I didn't do any of that. I did it when I did it. I did it too late, and it was too late. So rest in peace, jalapeno plant. You gave me 2 good years of some pretty awesome jalapenos, man.
They're called bonchis. You can look them up, but he takes like pepper plants and specific varieties of them, and he bonsais them, and he's got some that live to be almost 8 years old. 8 years old. Stuff
wow.
Like that.
Yeah, I grew these guys from seeds. It's one of those things. I had some pots and I had some soil, and I'm like, I need to plant something, and all I had was I had some seeds. I planted tomato from a tomato, and then I planted the jalapenos from jalapeno seeds. And what else did I have? I had rosemary, because I love rosemary with steak. You grill some steak, and then you finish it off in a frying pan with butter and
rosemary.
That's the best right there.
Fresh thyme or sage, maybe. Yep. A little bit of that if you want. Yeah.
So anyway, I had my fence replaced, and it was awesome. The guy did a fantastic job, and it's been super windy. April was one of the windiest months in the state of Texas, at least in my part of Texas. So he says, I'm going to wait for the wind to die down, then I'm going to come and stain your fence. So he finally came, and my motion detectors were going off around the house, and it's not like I live in Fort Knox. It's that Ring doorbell thing.
I got the same thing.
So it goes off. I see him. He's dragging some, his sprayer and the tarp and stuff. I'm like, oh, he's gonna stain my fence today. No big deal. So I snooze the alarm for 4 hours, because I figured he's gonna be walking back and forth to his truck and doing things and stuff, and I just didn't want to get alerts every minute. So he calls me at 2:00 in the afternoon, and he's like, hey man, did you hear what happened? And I said, no, I saw you on my doorbell. So I just snoozed it. I figured you were staining the fence. He goes, yeah, I got about halfway done. I said, man, what happened? He goes, someone stole my truck. I'm like, out of my driveway? He goes, yeah. So what happened was someone nearby stole a Denali. And this Denali came, and he was walking out to his truck, and he was probably, 100 feet or so away from his truck when this Denali pulled around the corner, stopped next to his truck. The dude jumped out of the Denali into this guy's truck, which is a Ford F-350, expensive-ass truck. And he just started it up, and down the street he went. So the guy's like, fuck, I just lost a $100,000 truck. So he calls the police. They fill out. I got a little timeline here. So his truck, this 350, was a vehicle number 2. He says he saw it being stolen, and it happened too fast for him to act. He called the police. Police arrived 45 minutes later. And there's about an hour or so of video of him filling out paperwork and the police taking statements on my Ring camera. So he got a phone call, and he called me at like 2:15. So he got a phone call from the Arlington Police Department. I live on the west side of Fort Worth. So he got a phone call from the Arlington Police Department saying, hey, bro, why is your truck parked in the middle of this road in this residential area with the door open, the driver door open? He's like, he goes, my truck was stolen at 10 o'clock this morning. Is it not on, is it not on the roster for things to look out for? They hadn't filed the paperwork yet, so it hadn't been officially reported as stolen yet. So this guy drove from the west side of Fort Worth into Arlington with his truck. So Arlington and West Fort Worth are separated by about 15 miles. It's not very far. The thief put 200 miles on this guy's truck. The only reason
he's driving around?
He's just driving around. The only reason he stopped is because the truck ran out of gas. So he got out of that truck and he stole another vehicle. It was like some dude's lawn service truck, hopped in that thing and went for a ride, blew a tire, pulled into a gas station, stole another vehicle. The guy who was stealing these trucks stole five vehicles that day. They didn't catch him because he was turning these vehicles over so quickly. The police never had a chance to even catch up with him. He went from...
You figure after about the second or third one, they'd be like, hey, we need to make this like a priority alert thing because,
But he was all over. He was all over the place. There was no place, hey, look out in this area or this zip code. This dude was just... I don't know.
He wasn't stealing... He didn't steal none of his equipment or anything?
Nope. He said the he goes, my, even the cigarette lighter was still there. I mean, he didn't rifle through anything. He just got in the truck and drove away. He didn't steal anything other than the truck. He didn't rifle through the glove box or the console or because the guy he said he had 2 pistols in there. The pistols were still there.
But Tom Tellick said, played too much Grand Theft Auto as a kid. I guess it's cheaper than Uber if you want to tour the Dallas Fort Worth there.
So yeah, right. So anyway, he called me at 2:15. He told me exactly what happened, and I'm shocked. And he's like, dude, I'm pissed. I got to calm down. All my shit's in your backyard. He goes, I'll be there in a few days and finish it up. And I'm like, well, I really don't know what the weather's going to be like. So I ended up getting back from work Tuesday, and I finished my fence. And I called him this morning. I'm like, dude, I hope everything's going okay. I need more stain because my neighbor, my adjoining neighbor, she needs to stain her side of the fence. So he apologized. He goes, yeah, I'll get you another 5 gallons. He goes, I'll probably show up and just finish it myself. He's all calmed down and everything's cool now. And Sin's like, oh, he didn't get shot in Texas. There was never time. Everything happened so damn quickly. He just got lucky because he parked that Denali and hopped in this truck, my carpenter's truck, and his key fob was just sitting there in the cup holder. None of that shit never happens in my neighborhood, man. I don't live in the greatest part of town, but that shit never happthey
It's always a crazy shit happens when you're gone. Like that earthquake they had in Virginia. I was stationed at ITSCOM headquarters at the time.
Uh-huh.
And they had this massive earthquake, 5.7. That's big for that area. And, I'm in Arizona at Huachuca doing a freaking a class down there. And all of a sudden my phone's just blowing up in the middle of the class. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And earthquake. I'm like... Why does shit like that always happen when I'm away?
You're like, damn it! I want to be in an earthquake. Yeah, I'd be the stupid guy in California going, "Woo, it's an earthquake," and I'd be taking selfies and pictures, and everyone else would be going, "What are you doing? This happens all the time."
My buddy was in the basement underneath a false floor, working underneath a data center, and the earthquake happened, and all they said, he just popped out the floor and went
right. You're like, today's the day. So you've been paying attention to the news lately?
Oh my God.
And this is what I guess the advertisement that I wrote for this show. Because I've been paying attention. And the thing is, on social media, you either murder babies for fun, or you want to install a Puritan society on the United States. There's no middle ground. And if you're a man, you should have no opinion on anything that has anything to do with women's reproductive rights, women's reproductive health, and whatnot. So I'm trying to find a middle road.
Oh, good luck with that.
I mean, I've already got my opinions, and I'm going to share those with you because I didn't get that memo that says we're not supposed to talk about that.
I'll go for it.
So there's been a bit of a national shakeup as far as Roe v. Wade in the Supreme Court. In basic terms, the Supreme Court is preparing to overrule Roe v. Wade. So what happened was there is a draft decision by the Supreme Court that got leaked to Politico. And it basically, surmising it basically says that they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, the internet, especially the Twitter sphere, blew up at just thermonuclear blowing up about overturning Roe v. Wade because people, I mean, the left loves the torch that they carry for pro-abortion or pro-choice. Okay. So the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1973, this is what Roe v. Wade is the decision by the Supreme Court in 1973 in which the court ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. That's what it does. Abortion rights. So another bullet point on this is if and when this new decision is made, these responsibilities, I guess, and this is that governmental overreach. Like government should just stay the fuck out of as much as they can. Mm-hmm. This is probably another one of those things. So there is going to be. I'm going to stick to my notes. I don't want to get off topic here. If and when this decision is made, these responsibilities, and I said responsibilities just because I don't know any other way to describe it. So I use the word responsibilities. These responsibilities will no longer be in the lane of the federal government.
Okay.
When Roe is overruled, the most immediate impact will be that states will be responsible. They will be free to either restrict or allow or completely ban abortions if they choose. It won't be a federally protected constitutional right. So states are going to have the say-so. That means that every single election that we have moving forward after this decision is rendered and passed or whatever, every election will decide control of whether abortion is allowed in that state or not. The state legislature, governor's mansion could swiftly become a referendum on abortion. With all of the issues that we are facing today in the states in which we live, our statewide elections will probably hinge upon single-issue voters that will either support or not support a candidate that is either for or against abortion. Which sucks. I think that really sucks. Because everyone's going to be like, well, hell yeah, you're pro-Second Amendment, but you're also pro-abortion. So people who are anti-abortion are going to say, well, you know, they can support the gun rights thing, but they don't like the government overreach as far as whether a woman should have an abortion or not. So here I'm going to insert my personal.
Oh, I got a lot to go with this. So you do you first. Let me get into this.
I'm going to test the waters here. Cause here, I'm a pro-life person. I choose life over aborting a fetus. Now, unlike some people, because like if you're looking at the news, you either have the Democrats that just want to murder babies, or you have the people that want to have this religious foundation in the country that absolutely bans abortion of no matter what. And it's true to some point, because if you look at the state of Louisiana is already drafting rules, maybe they've already passed it, that like from the point of fertilization, from the
it's
moment
going to be classified as a murder.
That's fucking ridiculous.
That is insane to me.
Even Texas is I don't know what to believe in Texas, because I've heard a lot of different takes on it, where it's, after a certain amount of time, 6 or 10 weeks, it's illegal and you can be charged with murder. And I'm like, dude, that is so over the top. I mean, if it was me, I mean, I'd be like, dude, I prefer life. Unless there's a case of, ectopic pregnancies, which can't survive. They're not viable. You're not allowed to have an abortion, even if you have an ectopic pregnancy. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. You're going to damage the woman.
You're going to kill a woman doing that.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely medical reasons why a woman should have an abortion. Those ought to be allowed. And the one thing that I am against as far as abortion goes, like, oh fuck, I'm pregnant, I'm just going to abort it. I don't like that. I don't support that at all. That's pretty much where I stand. Other than that, I mean, if you've got a medical reason, fine. Rape, incest, fine. But that, oops, I got pregnant, there are so many ways to mitigate that. And there are so many options that the men and women have. I mean, yes, the woman is the carrier of the baby, but it takes two. You just can't get pregnant by yourself. It does take two. Have a discussion, decide what you prefer. I mean, both sides have. It's probably a 65% toward the women. It's their body. They should have the decision, the trumping decision, I guess, whether they want to carry it or not. But I mean, adoption's always an option. It's such a murky, there's really, there's no fine line that separates these two issues. There's so many, economic situations that weigh in there. I don't know, man. What about you?
Well, me, I'm out first with my libertarian stance on it.
At age 45, everyone should get sterilized. How's that?
Nah, that's a little extreme too, but no, I don't think the government should be in the business of dealing death. I really don't, because that sets everything up. But I mean,
I don't think it should be, and I think I'm in the same spot with you. I don't think the government should either say yes or no. I think that a woman should have a consult with their doctor, talk about options, and then make a decision.
Well, I don't think the thing too is contraception should be a lot easier for women to get. They should be able to get it for free and not have to pay for it. No? I do believe in that too. I
mean, how much is a month of Depo-Provera?
I
have no idea.
That's the thing. I don't know, but I mean, if a 16-year-old girl who is sexually active and is afraid to talk to their parents about it, she should be able to go. That was the original idea behind Planned Parenthood. To be able to go in, get contraceptions, and prevent these pregnancies. Mm-hmm. But now people are using it as a form of birth control. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't like that willy-nilly. Yeah, I got knocked up. I'm just gonna. And some of these people protesting are, it's almost evil looking at it. It's like, yeah, I had an abortion and I'm proud.
There was that one girl walking around. She had a T-shirt that said, "I had 21 abortions." To me, that is. I don't know. That's like a biblical proportion kind of shit. Like, I don't talk much about like my religion and stuff like that, but that's like, was it Malak and Baal kind of shit, man? Like, that's the way. I mean, that's nuts, man. But you know what? I think this whole RV Wade or whatever
Roe
versus Wade.
Yep.
This whole thing was a distraction, a massive distraction, because there was like 4 or 5 big stories that hit and no one talked about it. The media kind of skipped over it. I think the Daily Mail hit on one of them, I think. But it was the CDC was caught. They just blatantly did it. Were red-handed tracking some people during the pandemic to see if they were complying with the lockdown stuff. hundreds of millions of people getting tracked with that.
One thing that did get buried it hardly got any, I don't think it got any mainstream press, but it was the fact that the Pfizer study came out.
The Pfizer study, I was about to hit on that. The Pfizer data drops came out. No one was talking about that. No?
Can we talk about that for a minute? I don't have any notes. I basically perused the headlines on that.
There's a gentleman, a doctor on he's got actually a gold YouTube whatever, a placard or whatever it is. He broke this down very well, and it was one of the first earlier Pfizer drops. And he broke it down to layman's terms and explained it all and stuff like that. And it is scary. It's crazy. Breaking
it down Barney style.
Mm-hmm.
Basically it was one of those, of everybody that was in the test group, every single one of them had some
sort of adverse effect.
Some sort of adverse effect. And the efficacy of the vaccine 12%. Was like 12%.
12%.
12%. And they were saying, no, it's 95% effective. I mean, this was big news, but this was all shadowed by this abortion thing. That's why I think I'm thinking it was planned.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. This is why I say the distraction thing. You've got midterms coming up, so it was all a political stunt to leak this shit in the first place, because they know it's going to be that is going to be a political arguing point throughout the midterms. And that's like a make or break for some people. People will vote one way or another depending on just that one topic.
Yes. There's a lot of single issue voters when it comes to abortion.
That was like the distraction thing. But another thing, too, was Ghislaine Maxwell. No one skimmed on that. But a federal judge reduced her sentence 10 years.
So what exactly did she do?
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking. Yay.
Mm-hmm. Where's her client list? If you traffic humans, there's a client list. It's this nice black book that's sitting up at the FBI that they refuse to read off because it's too damaging, and we need to protect some of the people in there. And then the Disinformation Board. That was another one that was kind of like, as soon as that was announced, everyone started getting on it, and all of a sudden, there's this leak, and everyone forgot about that.
The Ministry of Truth. Yes. Layla, I do agree. Planned Parenthood does do a lot of healthcare issues. They're just not a drive-through abortion clinic. I've never even suggested that.
No, that thing right there, like, what was it, Trump trying to defund the Planned Parenthood thing or whatever it is, that I didn't agree with, because I mean, young adults should be able to get their hands on contraceptions, like especially in places where you just can't go, and I don't know how much the drugs cost. I really don't know how much the drugs cost. So I mean, young men can go in there and get condoms if they want to get condoms.
And you mentioned it earlier. There are families out there. I was a member of one of them, where you don't talk about sex. That's just not you're not old enough. You're not old enough to talk about sex. So kids get curious. 10, 12 years old, probably more like 12 years old, starting at about 12 years old. And those hormones, the puberty starts hitting, and dude, they're going to start experimenting. And if they're not properly educated, then mistakes are going to happen, and you're going to have 16-year-olds that are pregnant. Mm-hmm. Sexual education in this country sucks horribly.
Well, I mean, now it's getting politicized, and that's another thing. That's a whole different subject we can get into. But, I find the hypocrisy of this whole thing is that you see these senators and House members sitting. They've been up there for 40 plus years. Roe v. Wade was like kind of like 73,
1973, January of 73.
Why during this entire freaking time did none of these people that are so pro-abortion codify any of this shit?
They had a lot of time to codify the.
But now it's an issue. You had 50 years to solidify it when you had the Supreme Court ruling behind you to be able to make law on it.
Check this question out. January Turner in the chat says, "Tell me one health issue a man has that the government controls." I can't think of one. I really can't think of one. I know.
What's that? What was the question?
She says, "Tell me one health issue a man has that the government controls." So I know if a man wants to go in and get a vasectomy, it's not just, hey, I want a vasectomy. You have to jump through some hoops. You have to jump through some hoops.
I was debating on getting a vasectomy. I don't want kids. I never wanted kids, so I've always been really very specific about like protection. You know, like I don't want kids. So, but I went early. I think it was 22 sometime, and I wanted to get a vasectomy. And the doctor refused to do it. He just refused outright. Told me, no, I'm not going to do it. You're too young. You don't have children. You're too young. But that's not the government. That's a doctor who just doesn't want to perform the procedure because he thinks that would probably do more harm than good at that point.
I mean, a vasectomy is reversible. A woman getting her tubes tied, that's not necessarily reversible. I think there's more success with a reversal of a vasectomy than a reversal of a tubal ligation.
But that's a very valid point. I don't think there's pretty much any health issues that you know men have. But then, I don't know. That's like I said, that's a slippery slope argument kind of thing, and I just don't want to get into that.
So Kenneth Posey says, under various U.S. laws, the youngest person can be, to have a vasectomy is typically between 16 and 18, depending on the age of legal consent in each state. Vasectomies at federally funded agencies require that you be at least 21 for the procedure. But that, I mean, other than that, I don't think that there's anything. I think,
like I said, I've never wanted children.
I think what it hinges, as far as abortion goes, there is the religious, life begins at conception, and it is a life inside a woman's body, and to terminate that life is equal to murder, and that's that other side. Democrats want to murder babies, and the Puritans want to take over the country, and everyone's going to be godlike. There's no middle ground. I'm like, dude, I think I'm the middle ground. Maybe I'm a little bit too on one side and not the other, but I think I'm pretty middle of the road.
Well, therein lies the issue, right? The federal government looks at the law and says, okay, we're going to repeal this because, okay, privacy is an issue, but you go back to what I was talking about, the CDC, like freaking spying on people, but privacy is an issue. But people will quote privacy stuff, and I think that's what the original reason why Roe v. Wade was, like, whatever. But where was I going with this? Oh, I had a major brain fart.
So Ken also said it's not a legal requirement to involve both partners in the decision-making and consent process. There is a widespread misconception that the wife must consent to her husband undergoing a vasectomy. I don't know. I've never had a vasectomy. It was never a part of a conversation.
Oh man. See there, Jason. That's a iffy one to me because I've heard some stories about people. I know it's hard being for a woman to be assaulted and stuff like that, but I've heard stories of people posting like, hey, I was a child of those specific things you mentioned in there, and I'm glad I'm alive. So I mean. There's people arguing economics behind that too, like, well, it helps with people who can't afford means, and like what you just might have stopped the next like Elon Musk from coming around. I mean, this is what if at that point, huh?
Yeah, and I've heard the arguments like you might be aborting the next Einstein or whatever, and I'm like, dude, you might be aborting the next fucking Hitler.
It could go both ways at that point.
Yeah,
so
I understand. I can see all sides of this argument. But when my wife and I had our first daughter, she went to her prenatal checkups and stuff, and the doctor's like, hey, there's an issue. Your child, we didn't know the sex yet, is going to be either malformed or developmentally underdeveloped. And it's either going to be an autistic child or something like that. And they were steering us towards aborting the fetus.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
So my wife and I, we both had a discussion, and we decided, no, we're still going to go through with this. She was absolutely fine with that. So we ended up having the most beautiful kid in the world, who's, just extremely successful, grew up, went to college. She's very successful in her life. And then we almost took that away from her. There's also, arguments of, if a fetus is not a human yet, it's not alive yet, or it's not
life.
It's
That's
not
what they
life.
consider it.
Yeah.
But I'll throw the other argument on there is if you ask any of these people, we found a clump of cells on Mars, that would be considered extraterrestrial life at that point.
Right.
So, I mean, these arguments actually make absolute no sense. Like, it's like a circle argument. And to me, this is why I say it's like a distraction or like a midterm stunt, because it is a division tactic is what it is. They know we will fight each other tooth and nail over this.
Amber, I get it. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's just like, if you look at the news, if you watch the news, any of the mainstream news, it's either we want to murder babies or we want everyone to live in a Puritan society. There is definitely a lot of in-between area there. And
Bill versus fuck.
In October 2021, Pennsylvania House Democrat Christopher Rabb introduces sterilization 3-child limit legislation. The bill will force men to undergo vasectomies within 6 weeks from having their 3rd child or on their 40th birthday, whichever comes first. I had my first daughter I was 28. I was 28. I mean, folks, I work with some people that are older than me that are just now having kids. They put off having kids until they were successful and secure later on in life, and now they're having the babies, and they're gonna be in a wheelchair when the kids are graduating high school. I say that jokingly. Not necessarily in a wheelchair, but they're going to be in their probably 70s when their kids graduate high school. That's a little late for me. So I basically think that this ought to be, the government should have absolutely no say in it. This should be a decision between the doctor and the woman.
Leave the government out of it. Government has no.
Get the government out of there.
I mean, like I said, I could take it to my whole libertarian side of things. I don't even think the government should be executing people. It's funny, though. I see some of the most pro-lifers out there saying, oh, more life is precious, da, 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 da. And as soon as someone does something stupid,
kill
him in the chair, kill him. I'm like, do you understand that is pure hypocrisy at that point? If all life is precious, this guy messed up. Oh, fry him, put him in the chair, firing squad. I could just name some things that will probably get us banned on Facebook with some things I've seen people say. But it's, a developing fetus is the most precious thing in the world at that point. But what was I going to get at? I think I was leading up to it earlier and I had a brain fart, and I think I clicked into it. I think, you know what Buck versus Bell is?
No.
It was like you get into this. It's crazy because Hitler and not Hitler himself because he himself, but a lot of the Nazi Germans were actually during the whole the Nuremberg trials?
Nuremberg trials, yeah.
Yes, they were quoting this Buck versus Bell because what the government was doing was sterilizing women
without their consent, or
no,
without their knowledge.
No, they would like, oh, this woman's crazy or whatever it is.
Oh, gotcha.
Asylum and sterile, or anyone was any kind of, mental illness and stuff like that. They were there's hospitals all over the United States where they were doing this. They were pulling people and sterilizing them, people with mental disabilities and stuff like that. And I think someone mentioned to me, I was like, I don't think that has ever been formally repealed by the Supreme Court. No, I tried to look it up earlier. Couple days ago, but I got sidetracked with something like that. But someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Is that true or not?" So I was just wondering. I'm gonna ask the all-knowing audience here if they know if Buck versus Bell or whatever, Bell versus Buck, ever got repealed.
I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it. I know that as a country, we've done some shady shit. Really shady shit. I mean, nuclear experiments on people that that didn't have any clue.
Or, like injecting syphilis into people with them not knowing about it and just letting it, them. But, Tuskegee project experiments and stuff like that.
Amber, I heard the same story. She says we were sterilizing illegal immigrants crossing the border just a couple of years ago. I think there is a lot of other information out there. It wasn't like a mandatory here, lay down on this table, we're going to sterilize you. I think there were other circumstances. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I did hear that story, and that's shocking as well. So are we done with this? I don't know. We could talk for a long time on this. Yeah, I think the older folks in Congress just ought to. I think the government ought to just get the hell out of the abortion argument. Just make it between a doctor and their patient, and it's a decision. It's a personal decision that you're gonna have to live with. If you go through an abortion, that's on you. We may agree or we may disagree with your decision, but that's a decision that you're gonna have to live with. That's about it. I mean, this is, I don't know.
No, the funny thing though is the sheer hypocrisy I've seen on Twitter of, like I like to call them like NPC updates where, they pull the chip out and put another chip in and everyone just
right.
So 2 years ago, everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna force you. You're gonna force you this. You're gonna have to carry these cards around and and you got to do this, to do that. And if you don't like it, we'll deal with it." And people would be like, "Well, I thought my body, my choice," and now we're back to the my body, my choice argument again. So
delicing Mexicans.
Something was overturned doesn't mean it's still valid. Sterilizing.
So anyway, I guess we get to look forward to possible more rioting or whatever when the Supreme Court actually comes out with the final decision. I mean, this is a draft, and this was one of my first arguments was someone stole a draft of a decision. That means it's still in the works. It can be edited. It's not law yet. Of course, being a distraction in all of this, I think the reason it was leaked by somebody, they said, what did Justice Breyer said that like 70 people had access to that draft document on top of the other, the 12 justices. So,
is there any legality to leaking an opinion from a Supreme Court justice?
Here goes Ken again. According to the U.S. Immigration and Enforcement data, ICE data since 2018, only 2 individuals at Irwin County Detention Center were referred to certified credentialed medical professionals at gynecological and obstetricial health care facilities for hysterectomies in compliance with the National Commission on Correctional Health Care standards. Medical care decisions concerning detainees are made by medical personnel, not by law enforcement personnel. Detainees are afforded informed consent, and a medical procedure like a hysterectomy would never be performed against their will. Yeah, you just can't say, "Hey, dude, we're taking your plumbing out." Or, ma'am, we're going to take your plumbing.
Well, they were kind of doing that for a while there, and I think Virginia was the big state that was doing that in the 20s, 1918.
We were such a different country. I'm not saying, I mean, the government is still the government, but we were such a different country back in the 20s. We were, a much younger country then. We've come a long way. We've done some fucked up stuff. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. I'm not trying to explain away the actions of the government. We're just in a different place. We're in a much better place now than we were back in the 20s. Am I right or am I right?
Oh, totally. I mean, I don't think we had the IRS in the 20s, did we?
Damn it! I took off my taxation is theft thing. Just I'm like, oh, we're not going to use that for this show.
Wonder
Shit.
how all the roads got built before the IRS came around.
They were dirt roads, man.
Pretty sure there was some brick roads laying around.
Oh, the cobblestone streets, dude. The cobblestone streets up in Syracuse, New York, are just awesome. Even in Cleveland, Ohio, they got some beautiful cobblestone streets in neighborhoods.
Don't get drunk and walk down Savannah, the cobblestone streets down Savannah, because you're gonna break your ankle. I'll tell you that much.
You're gonna roll your ankle, then you'll be on what is that? Medicaid, Medicare, whatever. You could be on some kind of disability. Man, I didn't even get to my second story. Can I do this? I can do this. Because I've got 2 Rona stories. I'll do the first one, and then I'll do the second one after the break. How about that? Sounds good. That's a great idea, Kaz. You're the host of the show. Go for it, bro. Okay, this is crazy. I mean, everybody in this country, in the United States, has gone through some form of lockdown because of this Rona thing. Everyone is bitching, oh, the government, you don't need to be locking me down and stuff. I'm like, dude, even in the worst lockdowns in the United States, it does not even shine the most dimmest of light on China. China, dude, these dudes are fucked up. And I just want to say, from the get-go, fuck China. Chinese citizens have been trapped in their own homes as police build fences outside their houses. Among the world's strictest lockdown, people living in Shanghai, China, woke up to find green fences had been installed by authorities overnight to restrict people's movement as the city faces its worst coronavirus surge since the pandemic began. Those with fences outside their homes in a sealed area cannot leave their properties whether they have or not the virus. Shanghai's 25 million people have been locked up for weeks due to the surge in COVID cases, with 21,000 new cases reported. And 39 people had died that day. It surprised residents who had no idea about the new rule until they woke up and figured out that they can't get out of their house. There's video out there of them like safety wiring their doors shut. And this isn't 41 thousandths safety wire. This is like, 1/8 inch. It's big. It's like fencing wire, keeping people in their houses. The reason why I brought this up is because I work for a company that has employees in China supporting our products. And they're of course they're in hotels. They're not allowed to leave. They're locked down. They can't leave. The government's bringing them food. It's not the best food. They're stuck like Chuck. They can't do shit.
Did you see the video of them screaming out of their apartment?
Oh my God. It was like the nighttime video of people just scream. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sounded like they were in pain.
Like it was like a hellscape almost. Like,
yeah.
It was just nuts.
They've been separated from, the separation from other humans. You have no contact with anybody else.
The little chew-like compartments they have that look like little outdoor prison cells where it's just like rows and rows and rows of them. And they got people just like stuck in these things.
Yep.
Like caged, like cattle at that point.
And that's like, what are those are like 8 feet by 10 feet? It's like a cell. It's like a cell.
Like you test positive, they throw you into this thing and they just leave you there. Mm-hmm. It makes. I don't know.
You've got a shitter and they bring you food, but you're stuck in that cell and you've committed no crime other than testing positive.
Well, Australia was doing that too there for a while. Maybe they got the idea from Australia, but I don't know. But what country was it? Sweden or Switzerland? I think it was Sweden. They just decided, screw it.
They said, fuck it, everything's open.
And they have very low case numbers now. It's kind of funny there, But yeah.
I've been extremely fortunate. I haven't lived in one of those cities or states that have had those crazy lockdowns, and I haven't missed a day of work, and it's just, a little bit of an inconvenience going to the grocery store. We're like, no, you got to wear a mask. Well, okay, whatever. I want to eat, so I'm going to grab some food.
It's funny where I live. I kind of in between like two big city areas, I guess. I wouldn't say big city areas, but like each city is controlled by like I guess a different political party. And the beach is, tourist area, whatever it is, but they're controlled by, I will say, this political party because whatever, it don't matter to me. But they went hardcore lockdowns, like something crazy insane. And the beach makes most of its money off of tourism and, restaurant goods and stuff like that, and service. The area where I live is more on another side of the spectrum. We're like, screw all that crap. We'll just go about our business. More businesses shut down at the beach than in town did.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just nuts. The lockdown thing it makes absolutely no sense to me at that point.
It didn't do anybody any good, and it didn't stop anything. It didn't prevent anything.
It's what that did was I'll literally say it like this: it fucked our economy so bad. We're trying to. I don't think we'll ever recover from this at this point.
So what do you think about Florida? I mean, Florida
was on point with it.
Yeah.
They were just like, screw this. We're going to do what we want. I mean, did you know? Okay, I think Trump was the president at the time when all these lockdowns started going. And Trump
Correct.
He went about it the correct way. Instead of using the federal government's power and influence to force these lockdowns down, he said, 10th Amendment, leave it to the states to figure this shit out. That's their job. That's their constitutional right at this point.
Yeah, and there was that initial 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and that's basically what Texas did. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then we're like, okay, we've learned more about this thing, so here are some mitigating things that we're going to do to prevent this from happening. And that's the way that we've conducted business since then for the last couple of years.
The states that went the hardest on it
are doing the worst.
They did the worst with the cases and everything like that, which I can't wrap my brain around. Like New York, California. I mean, California was a joke. You see all their what's her name, Pelosi out there getting haircuts with no mask on, even though it's mandatory. Yeah. And Gavin Newsom
eating in a restaurant, no masks, with a table full of people.
Party. And then you had the White House correspondents.
Oh, dude, New Zealand. Captain Wayne Baconator, yeah, New Zealand. Whooped everyone's ass on the Rona. Anyway. All right. As promised, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I got one more Rona story. This is military related, so you're going to like this. But we're going to be back in just a few minutes, and hang with us, man. This is going to be a fun rest of the show. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Clear.
WTF Nation Radio.
Nation Radio.
All right, we're back, everybody, for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom, and I'm tickling the threshold of getting squashed here, so I'm just gonna turn that down a little bit and talk over the music. And we're back. Today is the 6th day of May, and this is Friday Night Freedom here live on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. We're on Discord. We're on Twitch. Hello, Twitch. We're on YouTube and several other broadcasting platforms that I cannot name now because I didn't write down the list. It's a pretty good list. So yeah, during the break there was a little bit of a discussion in the chats about the vaccination and stuff, and I'd mentioned that it was one of those things where I had a choice. You either get the vax or you lose your job. We had meetings about this. We had town halls about this. And this was all based on, government instruction, government overreach. Because I work for a company that does a lot of government contracts. And it's like, you're going to lose your bread and butter unless you follow these rules. So, the heavy hand of the government was putting the screws to us as a company. And we lost a lot of really good engineers and technicians and mechanics and everybody because of that. They decided, okay, I'm popping smoke, I'm going somewhere else. And I'm kind of I have a niche talent. It's not like I can go anywhere. I have a very specific set of skills.
Yes.
People that nobody does what I do. Nobody does what we do. I don't say I'm the only person that does this, but my group, we're the only people in the United States that does what we do. So it's a very niche environment. So you kind of got to play the game. Yes, I had a choice, and I chose to get shot. I got shot 3 times, as a matter of fact. After my third shot, that's when I actually contracted the Rona. And I was down for 10 days. Sucked. It wasn't good.
Oh, you just reminded me of something.
Huh?
I don't know if you reminded me of something, but I don't know if I want to talk about it on air or not. But screw it, I'm gonna go at it anyways. Love my sister to death. I'm about to be a couple months, maybe 2 months from now, I'm about to be an uncle, which I'm really happy about. But she sent out like this list to anyone wanting to come visit, and you think the CDC guidelines are crazy. She had like, you need to get this vaccine, you need to get that, you need to do this. You need to do that.
So it was
like,
more
like.
I mean,
I love her to death. I love her to death. I mean, that's her choice as a parent, so I get that. But it's
kids going to school, they have to have there's quite a long list of shots that they have.
Polio.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could pull up my military list, I'm pretty sure I've got shots that no one knows about.
Dude, I used to show up at EDRES. We used to have EDRES, emergency readiness deployment exercises. And it's like, okay, it says here you need this, and this shot. I'm like, no, here's my shot records. Here's a copy of my shot records. I've already got it. They're like, no, we don't have that one. You're going to get it anyway. So, I got doubled up on a lot of shots.
You're trying to give me a smallpox vaccine
right next to your scar,
and I was like, I've been vaccinated, and I argue with them. I was like, I'm not doing this. I will fight. I will physically fight. I was about to fight the medics. I was like, I will freaking fight you right now. You're not jabbing me with this shit again. I think like a smallpox vaccination lasts like what, 10, 15 years
10
or
years.
Something like that.
It's 10 years because I got it when I was in the Army. I got out of the Army. I spent 8 years active. I was out for a few years, and then I went and I contracted overseas, and they made me have the smallpox vax again. So I got 2 scars.
I wouldn't mind getting it again now. I mean, now that I'm like, it's way been past, I'm freaked out about, everyone, Bill Gates keeps talking about a new pandemic in his new pandemic book.
That pregnant dude. That pregnant dude is he's got me worried.
That's the reason why that emoji popped out in the first place. This is the Bill Gates emoji.
He's got funding. He's received funding, and he's throwing his own money in there for a nuclear reactor in Wyoming.
What?
Yeah, check it out. Just Bill Gates, Wyoming.
Okay, I can.
We
okay,
talked about this months and months and months ago.
Oh, I can get behind that. Like, because I'm pro
pro energy. But now, I started watching that 3 Mile Island thing on Netflix, which is back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. That's around what Chernobyl happened in the 80s.
Yep.
So I mean, that was early nuclear technology at that point. I mean, look at France. Let's take France for example. I know we just probably
Tom Teleki's like, I had something like 13 anthrax shots. Thanks, 10th Mountain Division.
And those are the worst too. It feels like you get kicked by a damn donkey when you get this shit.
I stopped at 1. I got my first one, and I'm like, fuck this. I never went for the booster.
Had I known that they were paying for plasma of people who had the anthrax attacks, and they're paying a decent amount of it, I would have been given plasma.
Yeah.
But now I don't think they offer as much as they were. At one point in time, I think it was like something crazy, like $200 a go or something like that.
Yeah, Keith, 3 Mile Island happened, and then Chernobyl happened, and then Fukushima happened. And those were the 3 big ones.
And everyone freaks out about those.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean,
I'm 50 miles away from Comanche Peak nuclear facility, and if that they're southwest of me, and if shit went, if shit fucked up there, I mean, our prevailing winds are usually southwest to northeast.
Lake Anna, Virginia, has a nuclear power plant. The whole reason why the lake is there is for cooling the power plant.
Probably get some nice sized bass in that lake too.
Yeah, well,
because it's warm.
You got a cold side of the lake and you had a warm side of the lake, and during the winter, the cold side would get cold and freeze a little bit, and then during the winter, the warm side would be steaming. But we would get alerts, like they would do siren testings, and each area, like if there was I was in the first group of people to evacuate. I was literally that close to the reactor. So it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, it's good power and everything like that. And now the newer ones are just, I think it's Sweden is working on one where they've built they're building this entire underground facility to be able to store the world. Like, they're going to make money storing people's waste. And it's an amazing storage system.
People's waste or like nuclear waste?
Nuclear waste,
okay.
Like from around the world. Like they'll be like, hey, if you want your waste stored, we'll store it for you. We have the facility to do it.
But that's going to fill up. I mean, there's what's that storage facility up in the mountains, Sierra Nevada?
Yucca Mountain. Yeah, that's it. Well, that was shut down. I think it still had storage facility space, but it was shut down by 1, 2, 3 administrations ago.
Oof. Wow, I'm out of the loop. Okay, boomer. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, to talk about energy, I mean, nuclear is a really good. Everyone freaks out about it, but what do they say? Something along the lines of like a soda can filled with uranium pellets is enough to power a person's entire electrical use for their entire life. You do the math on that, no? I mean, one pellet can do I think it's like 1 million tons of coal or something like that.
I don't know. I'm not a nuclear scientist. I'm an engineer, yeah, but it's just there's a lot of math involved here. I'm good at math. I'm really good at math. Anyway, let's
collider in France. I don't think it's in France. I think it's in is it in France?
Switzerland.
Hadron.
The Large Hadron Collider, Fermilab.
Mm-hmm. That's cool stuff, but that freaks me out a little bit too.
That doesn't freak me out as much as living next to a nuclear power plant would. I don't mind. I mean, collide particles all you want. And yes, they make little itty bitty black holes and then they dissipate. All right, let's get to the last Rona story. which is actually, and this is kind of weird to me because it's actually a commissioned officer who was hemmed up for not following the rules. An officer who formerly served as the Army's Public Health Center's headquarters in the. Oh, let me start this again. Hi, welcome to Friday Night Freedom. An officer who formerly served as the Army Public Health Center's headquarters company commander was convicted by a special court-martial of two specifications of violating lawful orders to comply with the COVID-19 mitigation measures at Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. First Lieutenant Mark Bashaw was found guilty of refusing an order to telework and reporting to his office without submitting to a COVID-19 test or otherwise furnishing a negative test result, according to installation spokesperson Amber Reese. The mitigation measures were required of unvaccinated troops at Aberdeen. Bashaw, who is a former Army Air Force NCO and father of 3, was also found guilty of failing to wear a mask indoors. The trial concluded Friday, and his listed attorney had not immediately responded to a request for comment. The military judge who oversaw the trial opted not to punish him, so he was guilty, but with no punishment. However, the conviction gives Bashaw a criminal record that may impede future employment opportunities. I mean, this dude's a lieutenant, but look at his ribbon. Look at his ribbons.
Yes, because he was prior service.
Prior service. That's impressive to me. I mean,
I don't know what how the Air Force hands out medals and stuff like that, but
there's like a Care Bear medal and a
like the Master Bus Rider medal, or spun so many times around in a chair without falling out of it.
After careful consideration of the evidence, a military judge exercised lawful authority not to adjudge punishment for First Lieutenant Mark Bashaw, Reese said in a statement to Army Times. Receiving no punishment at a court-martial is not without precedent. Check this out. Colonel Vindman said, Colonel Vindman said, who is the top lawyer for the Army Communications Electronics Command, which oversees Aberdeen Proving Ground, tweeted that he was proud of the first in the nation's conviction. The service has kicked out 426 active duty troops for refusing to receive the mandated vax, and 3,381 have received official reprimands. Roughly 5,000 exemption requests still await adjudication. So I said Colonel Vindman, and that might go, hey, I've heard that name before. Well, Colonel Vindman, so if the name sounds familiar, it should. So long story short, Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Vindman worked for the National Security Council, I think it was the National Security Council. He took issue with the way that President Trump acted during a phone call with Vladimir Zelensky, who you may remember is the president of Ukraine. Vindman used his chain of command to voice his concerns about the president's conversation, and then President Trump took adverse actions against then Lieutenant Colonel Vindman to try to sabotage his career. And yeah, so he made his colonel. He went from lieutenant colonel to full bird, and he's still, his twin brother retired as a colonel. Am I mixing these two up?
Well, I gotta get
because there's Alexander, and then there's dude. What the hell is this guy's first name? His name is Eugene, but it's Yevgeny or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at him.
I tried to find information on Yevgeny, and all I got was information on Alexander. Because I'm wondering, okay.
I had more ribbons on my chest than that dude did. No, excuse me. You said he was signal? Like I'm looking at infantry on his uniform.
Which the Air Force guy or Vindman? Vindman. I think the Vindman who was hemmed up was an infantry, or was it Alexander? They're identical twins, so I can't see a picture of them.
You got Alexander Vidman is his full name at that point, huh?
No, there's two of them. It's him and his twin brother.
Oh, I'm looking at the wiki right now, but this is the guy that got hemmed up for the whole National Security Council thing. Yeah. Wait a minute, he was Russian?
Yeah. No. Well, he's born in Kiev.
Oh, okay.
Or Kyiv.
Eve.
Came over to the States at 3.
I'm looking at his thing. I started talking smack, but he's got a Purple Heart, so I'll give him that. No. You got a Legion of Merit, no?
Yeah, he's a Ranger.
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking smack now.
I mean, the dude comes with a lot of praise. A lot of praise. I mean, he's done a lot of good.
They got the Combat Infantry Badge, Purple Heart, Legion of Merit. Huh? He's a Ranger. Yeah, got them airborne wings. Yeah, okay. He's just okay.
He's not a slouch.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I was making fun of that. I got more ribbons on my chest than he does, but most of his ribbons are better than mine, so I only. That's okay. I see it. Vidman's twin brother and one. Okay, infantry, and the other one's what's it? Civil affairs. It looks like. I can't tell. What?
Yeah, he's a JAG. This Vindman is a JAG lawyer.
Okay.
All right, we're off of this.
Yeah.
You want to talk crypto? Let's talk crypto. And this is my city, so I'm kind of stoked about this.
Okay.
And this is my mayor right here. Fort Worth, Texas is now the first city government in the United States to mine Bitcoin. In an almost poetic devotion to the initiative, Mayor Maddie Parker oversaw the construction of a small mining farm in City Hall. So look at this. Look over like by her left elbow. How many machines do you see?
Her left elbow?
Yeah. If you
it looks like an open rack to me at that point.
It is. Yeah, well, you see those 5-inch fans? Dun dun dun. There's 3 of them.
The 1, 2, 3. Oh,
yeah.
I'm thinking backwards. Sorry, you said left. I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at her. Never mind. I was Army, left, right. I don't do this shit. So
her left.
Yeah.
Anyway, they got 3 machines out there mining Bitcoin, which is crazy because I see all these other Bitcoin mining operations that have like entire rooms full of these little computers mining Bitcoin, and there's like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 of them or more. Anyway, 3 Bitman Antminer S9 mining rigs will run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a climate-controlled information technology wing of Fort Worth City Hall. The city says that the miners will be hosted on a private network to minimize the security risk. Bitcoin operates on a proof-of-work mining model, meaning that miners around the world run high-powered computers to simultaneously create new Bitcoin and to validate transactions. The process requires professional-grade equipment, some technical know-how, and a lot of electricity. That's why Fort Worth's pilot project is starting small with the 3 machines there.
So say again the model of the Antminer again.
Bitman Antminer S9 mining rigs.
An S9. Okay, I'm looking at S19. The S19 runs for almost 10K a pop. So
damn.
Yeah.
Each of the program's 3 machines will consume the same amount of energy as a household vacuum cleaner, according to city estimates. While the mayor doesn't expect the 3 miners to be major money makers, the cost of electricity needed for the program is expected to be offset by the value of the Bitcoin mined. Beyond adding Bitcoin to the city's balance sheet, Parker, who took office last year and is the city's first ever millennial mayor, believes that leaning into Bitcoin will go a long way toward putting Fort Worth on the map. Yeah, she's super young. She was... our old mayor, Betsy Price, she was like, okay, I'm done being mayor. I'm not going to run anymore. And she endorsed Maddie Parker. She's young. 30s. I want to say 30s.
So those 3 units that she's running right now, I'm doing the math on it in my head, but they're $800 a pop.
That's it?
Yeah, they're not that expensive. So if they're planning on expanding, that's pretty cool. But each one has 40 terahashes of processing power.
I don't know what's good or bad as far as this goes, because I'm like, dude, I mean, I've got an entire room here. The room that I'm sitting in right here is pretty big. I've got room if I ever wanted to get a mining rig in here, but I have no idea. I have no idea how that works.
I'm trying to look.
And that's all I hear is it puts out a heat signature and all this other stuff. I guess it all depends on what kind of machine you get.
We could do it with GPUs. So what you ever see Linus Tech? I don't know. You've ever watched that? He's the big computer guy that gets into like GPUs and building computers and stuff like that. No? Linux guy, Linus. Oh, okay. Well, he got his hands on one of the new what is it? The NVIDIA A100s. I don't know if you don't probably keep up with the GPU kind of.
I don't know. I don't really speak that.
It's a GPU that is designed for AI learning, like deep learning.
Oh, okay.
And this thing, they say 5 of them would be able to process, like 5 of them in tandem would be able to process almost the entire like internet and like daily internet.
So it's got deep threading.
Yeah. So that's insanity. But I mean, they did the mining test on it, and it was way better than these things. But I think they're $10,000 a pop. So I mean,
I'll loan her. I'll buy one if she buys more.
I mean,
this is great.
Are they going to allow the people of the city to invest into this?
I have no idea. I just learned about this yesterday.
Okay, because if they're going to allow like every day Joe Spo be like, okay, well, if this is a city initiative, I want if this could
supplement city budgets, that would be fine too. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing too.
Keith Miller says, did you see that she is trying to get the city council members' salaries kicked up to compete with other cities? That's cool too. That's
good. Do what you need to. I mean, maybe pay some of the police a little bit more.
Ice chimed in and says it's too volatile for government use. I guess investing in crypto right now, I mean, my crypto portfolio is down like a lot.
Mine's hurting bad.
Mine's hurting really bad. But I think that's
when the Fed said, "Hey, interest is going up." All of a sudden, I looked at mine. It was like, beep, but then it went beep, right back down again.
Yeah, right back down again. But I think the reasoning behind that is because everything else is so expensive right now. People are not buying crypto; they're buying fucking groceries, and they're feeding their families and they're paying their bills.
People are taking their investments and turning it in at that point. No?
Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy the dip because I don't think it'll go much lower than what it is now.
I've been buying Ethereum like crazy, as cheap as it's been. It's about half the price as it was before. Inflation and stuff started hitting real heavy.
The thing is, I already invested what I wanted to lose. I already invested what I was prepared to lose, and I made a fuck ton of money on that. I took my profit out, so everything that's still in it is there. It's just gravy. It's all gravy. So I'm playing with gravy now.
So the way I look at it is, if I invest whatever a month, and I calculate, I was like, well,
I haven't put any money in this in
or drink it
a year, more than a year. It's been like a year and 2 months since I put any money into any crypto. It's all my initial investment. I already reclaimed.
I also stake a lot of crypto because
I used to stake. The staking rewards were down. They went down like a lot.
I'm getting on average around 4.9% on my stakes, which is better than me letting my money sit in a savings account.
Yeah, mine was 3.6%.
Yeah, I'm still at about like 4.9, 4.7 now. Last I checked. So I mean, that's better than a savings account, though. I mean,
is it too late for GameStop stock? Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
I think it's still. I want to take a look at it. I haven't even looked at that in a while. Give me a second.
I haven't. Thank you very much, Keith, for mentioning that. I haven't looked at that in a long time.
Because it was up to like $400 a share or something like that.
Oh yeah,
it's still at 114.
It's at 114.
People are holding on. People are holding on to that. Just all, that whole story. I don't want to get back. People confused. Go research the story. It's epic. I forgot completely all about that. It just made me laugh.
What was it? But the thing is, it was down to what? What was its lowest point before it spiked?
I'll do a 5 year right before the guys on Wall Street Bets on Reddit realized there was a massive short going on. It was at this graph's horrible. 13 was the lowest it was at. I'm getting right
$13.
now.
So everybody started buying it. It went up to, people bought it at 13 and it went up. It shot up to $400 or $500 a share.
Well, I don't. The whole short squeeze started in late 2020, went into 2021.
It was kind of gradual, and then it really spiked. There was a spike, a big spike.
Well, the squeeze when the squeeze happened, it shot up to $347 a share, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But then it dipped back down to $45 because the squeeze was done with. Everyone was like, "I'm going to sell." But then a bunch of people were like, "Wait a minute, they're shorting again," and they squeezed them again at 200. It went down to $45. They squeezed them They squeezed these guys a second time.
So basically, selling short. To break this down, Barney style, selling short means you have a time period in which to sell your stock at a certain price. You buy it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to fictitiously buy this at.
You're borrowing.
You're borrowing money against the performance of a stock, and then in a given time frame, you have to sell that stock at whatever price it is. So you're kind of betting against the market. So you're shorting the market. You're thinking it's going to do worse than it really is. And then that shit just blows up, and then all of a sudden you have 1,000 shares of something that you paid $10 for each, and now you have to pay $500 for each. Because you borrowed money, and this is what you have to pay it back at. Is my understanding of what selling short means.
I had a really good understanding of it, but my brain right now would not be able to explain it.
You need to drink more energy drinks. Have a monster, crack a monster, bro.
Oh, so I don't. I had a cup of coffee yesterday. My brain's been all over the place. So. But yeah. That whole story is epic. They did, not only did they do that with GameStop, they did it with Nokia.
Yep.
They did it with
mostly you don't borrow stock, you bet against the performance of a stock. You borrow money based on the performance of a stock. You think it's going to go down. So you say, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares at, let's say, $10 a share. But you're betting it's going to go less than $10 a share.
You borrow the share from someone at $10 a share. You sell it at that very moment at $10 a share. You've got so many days to pay back the money on that share. Mm-hmm. So if the share goes down, say $5 a share, you sell it back to the person. Well, you don't sell it back. You give it back to the person that you borrowed it from at the $5 a share. In the process, you've made $5. That's how the short squeeze works. Or the shorting a stock works.
I always I've got a Fidelity account, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to know how to?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
That is pure. I think that should be illegal. I really do. I think it is a horrible trading practice.
It's meant for people who are educated, and I'm not. No, I'm just a civilian.
Because the whole reason why the GameStop thing happened in the first place, because one of those companies was like legitimately got onto, I think it was Bloomberg or something like that, and was saying, "Oh yeah, screw GameStop, that's a stupid stock," blah, 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 blah. And he owned a bunch of shorts. He was purposely convincing people that GameStop is not worth it and sell his stuff so he can make money off.
He was trying to drive the price down so he makes more money on his return.
And when it leaked out that someone went online, because you could see how many shorts are out on the market, people were like, "These companies are shorting the hell out of this. Let's just buy it and bankrupt them." And I think what was the company? I can't remember the company, but there was a company that literally went bankrupt and had to borrow $40 billion from another company. I think Vanguard bailed them out, huh?
To pay off their debt, yeah.
Yeah.
which wasn't real debt. It was fictitious debt. But on the books, they owed all that money.
Yeah.
So if I say the term, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Maybe in that British accent. I'm not dead yet.
So shrubbery.
Bring out your dead.
We demand a shrubbery. A shrubbery. I love that movie. I love it.
So there was a funeral. A funeral in Peru was dramatically interrupted after knocking was heard from within a coffin. The family of Rosa Isabel Cespedes Calaca had gathered in the city of Lambayeque to pay their respects on April 26th. Rosa had been involved in a serious, horrific crash. The accident claimed the life of her brother-in-law and left her nephews with serious injuries. She had been pronounced dead and then loaded into a coffin ahead of her funeral. Sounds like when you die in Peru, they just plant you right away. Like, they're dead. We're gonna plant them. But when her relatives hoisted the wooden structure onto their shoulders, they began to hear strange sounds. I'm not dead yet. They lowered the coffin and opened the lid to find a weak but very much alive Rosa peering up at them. Cemetery caretaker Juan Segundo Cajo said she opened her eyes and she was sweating. I immediately went to my office and I called the police. Police? I would have called a doctor. I mean, personally.
Yeah.
Shocked
Stick
relatives.
A stake in his heart. He's a vampire.
It's a zombie. It's a zombie apocalypse.
Kill it now.
Rosa Isabel is a zombie. Shocked relatives rushed Rosa, still in her coffin, to the hospital in town. Once there, Rosa was found to be showing several signs of life. They hooked her up to a life support machine by all the medics. Her condition later deteriorated and she died a few hours later again. Her family, who has to say their farewells twice, are now demanding answers. They have expressed outrage at the healthcare bosses for the fact that she was declared dead in the first place. I mean, apparently they don't do autopsies in Peru. So here's a life hack. If you're going to die, don't do it in Peru.
Don't do it in Haiti either. Just,
Haiti? Oh, well, you might be a zombie in Haiti.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Was that Angel Heart?
There was a movie back in the day. I can't remember the name of it. But
Was it?
it's like
It was Angel Heart, wasn't it?
Can't remember the name of it. I had to look it up. But dude gets turned into guy was blowing. I don't know. It got weird near the end of the movie though. It's an '80s movie too, I think. Yeah? No, that's a different one that I'm thinking of. No.
Peru autopsies. Peru autopsies. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, just imagine cutting someone up and you see their heart still. You're going in, you're just start cracking the ribs, and it's like the dump. You're like, oh, I done fucked up.
Oh damn. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can you take over for me? Sure. Okay, you do the paperwork. Great, bet.
Oh, that's just nuts. That's like a fear of mine. I don't want to. Angel Heart, though. I think I've seen that movie.
So what about you, man? When you die, you want to get planted, or you want to get cremated, or what?
I'm still up in air on that. I mean, I really wish I could do the whole Viking thing.
Or you can get planted. They can chop you up and then put you with a bunch of tree seeds and.
Well, if they're gonna chop me up, just feed me to some buzzards, damn it. I know where you're going with this, because I just read this. It's like, this is interesting.
Oh, how about this? Don't want to go out of order there. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. A youth softball umpire in Mississippi said that she was slugged in the face by an angry mom after a softball game for a 12 and under match. The incident occurred in Laurel, Mississippi, where the mom, Kiara Nichelle Thomas, age 32, started hurling foul language across the field before challenging the call of an umpire, Christy Moore, at second base. She said she was going to fuck me up. Moore told police that Thomas had threatened her multiple times during the game, according to the incident report. Moore later tossed Thomas, but the mom stuck around and then punched the umpire after the game concluded. Thomas later fled the scene. After the game, Moore took to Facebook, where she posted this picture of herself with the black eye. So the woman that did the punching is wearing a shirt that says Mother of the Year. Man.
Who said it? Gordon Ridge. That's the movie. That's the one I was thinking of.
What was it?
It's the Serpent and the Rainbow.
Serpent and the Rainbow. Oh, that's it. What did I say? Angel Heart.
You said Angel Heart. I looked at it. I was like, no, it's a Serpent and a Rainbow. Thank you for reminding me that. I got to put that down and write that down because that was a great.
That's Mickey Rourke is the investigator and
yeah. It's a
Kravitz's wife. Kravitz's first wife. Lenny Kravitz's first wife. I forget her name.
Tyson? No.
Nope.
I got the list here. Oh no, I'm not seeing it on here.
So hey, man, tomorrow morning when you wake up, do you ever eat cereal? Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops?
I got a box of Captain Crunch. I get them vacuum sealed like little things so I can keep my Captain Crunch forever. I do it like once every like 3 months. I'll just have a bowl of it. I'm just weird like that. Cereal's not my thing.
I always have like a craving or something every once in a while. So I have a couple of boxes. I have Honey Nut Cheerios. I have Lucky Charms, and it usually changes out. I like Apple Jacks. I like a lot of the sweet cereals. But when I'm waking up, I'm like, it's a Sunday night, I'm hungry. Because I'll eat kind of early and I'll go to sleep. But I'll wake up at like midnight going, fuck, I'm hungry. I want some kind of a snack. So I grab a snack. There's a new cereal that y'all might be interested in. And if I see this on the shelf, I'm going to buy it and I'll let you know what it is. But this is like a cereal game changer for everybody here. You don't mix it with milk. You don't put milk in the cereal.
Is it beer?
It's not beer.
Okay.
It's not beer. Can anybody guess?
Coffee?
Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet was is her. She was Lenny Kravitz's wife. I don't know if they're still married or if that was his first wife or whatever. Anyway, yeah. If you're gonna add something to cereal, what do you do? I'm gonna get some milk. Nice cold milk, and just go through that bowl of cereal, and it's usually like 2 or 3 bowls for me. Orange juice, bro. Orange juice.
I was thinking like coffee or something like that, but.
Okay, Tropicana has released a cereal specifically intended to mix with orange juice instead of milk in honor of National Orange Juice Day, which occurred on May 4th. You know, everyone was kind of like, May the 4th be with you. No, they released this Tropicana Crunch. Dubbed the Tropicana Crunch, it is touted as the first ever breakfast cereal created to pair with Tropicana Pure Premium. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use Simply Orange, but I get it. TropicanaCrunch.com will be the only place to get the odd cereal. Starting on May 4th, the juice company will give away boxes for free while supplies last. Tropicana Crunch has described on the box as a honey almond cereal, and the website claims that it has honey almond clusters. After experimenting with various flavors and textures, Tropicana decided on a granola-based cereal because it can resist the acidity of orange juice better than flakes, which would become very, very soggy and probably very nasty. The honey almond flavor was also chosen to counteract the tartness of the orange juice. Tropicana has taken a bold attempt to address some of the orange juice's perceived faults for the second time in the last year, the orange juice matching cereal. Tropicana toothpaste was produced last year in a limited edition giveaway of the toothpaste was specifically designed to keep your orange juice tasting good after brushing your teeth. Nothing tastes worse than drinking orange juice after you've brushed your teeth. It's just like these two just nasty.
I always brush my teeth after I eat breakfast.
Me too. Usually, when I wake up in the morning, I do eat breakfast, and then I brush my teeth, and then I go to work. I never brush my teeth first and then eat anything afterwards.
This is horrible.
I'm like a cereal, and not cereal with a C, a cereal with an S, toothbrusher. I love my clean teeth. I like the fresh taste of my mouth. So, you know, I brush my teeth at work. I brush my teeth at home. But yeah, it's usually, it's always after I eat.
Talking about sprinkles, spangles from the 90s there.
What's that again?
Gordon Bridge in the chat said, "What do you know about sprinkles, spangles?" I vaguely remember.
I don't know. I've never heard of sprinkles, spangles.
It was a '90s thing because '90s cereal got crazy. My mom actually worked for I think it was Procter and Gamble at the time, so they had all kinds of hidden. This one I think was it was either Kellogg's. I don't think Procter and Gamble. I gotta go look it up.
Research on the fly here at WTF Nation Radio.
No, because she used to do. She was a district manager for displays and stuff like that. So they would send her samples and stuff, to hand out to people. Here, try this. You might want to add this onto your shelves or whatever it is. We'd always have boxes of it. So I had every brand new cereal you could think of on the face of the earth, and I think I vaguely remember
and stuff that probably never got released.
It wasn't Procter. No, it was General Mills. Never mind. No, General Mills is part of Procter and Gamble. So yeah, I think it's like these little stars that they just popped up. You had Hidden Treasures was a big one. They had that weird. They were these weird sandwich things. They had this little weird kind of crunchy chocolate inside of them. French Toast Crunch was another one that came out. Huh?
I bet that's delicious.
They had another one too that was kind of
sweetened corn puffs covered with rainbow sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I'm not really that into sugary cereal, but that really sounds good.
My favorite is Blueberry, and I'm glad they started bringing it back out during the holidays again. It used to be something you could pick up all the time, not just during the Halloween time frame. But now they're bringing it back. It comes back Halloween.
I've always been I was a fan of Count Chocula.
Count Chocula is good too, but Blueberry's always been my favorite. Forgot about sprinkles back when you said it. It's just like 90s came, my childhood came back a little bit.
Well, I'm glad to bring you back.
There's another one called Quisps from back in the day that I used to like, and I think they discontinued that a long time ago. They were like Captain Crunch, but it had a little an alien on the front of it.
It's just and if you think about it, it's just an amalgamation of random sugar combinations with some corn or some oats. That's what all cereals is.
Mr. T had a cereal in the 80s, didn't he?
Oh my gosh.
I think the best ones I ever had as a kid it was Rice Krispies, right? But they
got so many cereals now. I've got my go-to is the Special K strawberries. It's dried ass strawberries with whatever Special K is. I love that. I don't like to eat a lot of sugar, especially when I'm trying to sleep, and that's usually when I eat cereal is when
That's right around. Yeah, I the only time I really eat cereal is if I'm like super drunk and I'm just like, I want something.
I need something. You know why? When I'm super drunk, I usually keep a 6-pack of Velveeta shells and cheese up in the cabinet. So it's something that puts something in my belly, and I can go to sleep. Reese's Puffs. I've never had Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs were good. Now you got me thinking. French Toast Crunch was a big one. Trix actually had their cereal with different fruits.
Trix was nothing more than a Fruity Pebbles in a round sphere.
King Vitamin was good.
I've never had King Vitamin. I was always like, that's welfare cereal. I'm not going to eat that.
No, King Vitamin was good. There's a Fruity Pebbles that came out, but it was instead of like Cocoa Pebbles or Fruity Pebbles, it had I think they're called Dino Pebbles. Dino the dog. They were pretty good.
From Flintstones.
Yeah, Flintstones. The dinosaur dog that they had, Dino or whatever his name was. Yeah, he had his own Fruity Pebbles that come out. Always like the Christmas. They had like this 3-pack of Captain Crunch that would come out during Christmas. It was a Christmas special one that they had. Jurassic Park had their own crunch, I think. Yeah. I mean, I'm going back.
We got folks chiming in. Trix equals jet puffed Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the jet puff Fruity Pebbles would be probably a good combination for the orange juice. I'm thinking that the Tropicana Crunch has enough processing power to withstand whatever the liquid is that orange juice is. I don't like Tropicana orange juice. I like simply orange.
The cinnamon mini buns. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, those were Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I go back to Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'll eat that shit dry.
I'm trying to think. Like, this is like throwing me back. They had all kinds of blueberry.
Blueberry's good.
Blueberry was good. Count Chocolate. You said Count Chocolate. I'm looking at a list now. The triples? I don't remember the triples.
I don't remember that either.
Triples. No, now I look at it, I remember it. It was the crisp corn, the crisp rice, and the crisp wheat. It was like a mix between they were like Rice Krispies, but instead of just rice, it was a corn, rice, and wheat mixed together.
Little chocolate donuts?
Oreos?
Oreos? No, little chocolate donuts.
No, I don't remember little chocolate donuts, but they did have like the Oreo, like they were like little. They looked like Cheerios, but they were Oreos.
Oh, I'd eat the shit out of that.
Yeah, cookie crisps. That was my shit when I was a kid.
I like that.
Yeah, I think of anything else.
Like little chocolate chip cookies that you put in milk. Yeah,
milk.
Who doesn't like that?
You can't beat that at that point, huh? You used to still get toys in the cereal. You open it, you have to dig down to the bottom, look for the toy.
I saw a meme that came up. This is like, back in my day, you used to get like a 45 record that was like embossed to the outside of the box of the cereal that you're eating.
Dude, yes, they would get crazy with the crap, man.
Now there's nothing. It's like, here, take a picture of this QR code and then we'll mail you something.
Dude, they put a 3D video game. What was it? Chex. They put a CD with it that had a game in it. I can't remember the name of the game, but it was like Doom, except you're fighting like snot balls. I can't remember the name of this game now. You just threw me back on that because that was like peak 90s. Like, here's a free video game to play, and it was like Doom but not violent. I know someone in the chat is gonna remember that.
Right?
No, someone's gonna remember.
A Cookie Crisp or a Waffle Crunch. Dude, I can eat the shit out of some maple. Anything maple flavored, yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
You know what? They should make like a cereal that's like tiny little grilled cheese sandwiches that you can throw into tomato soup.
Oh.
And then you just Boom.
Because oh my gosh, dude.
TM trademark. That's my idea. I came up with it.
That is so awesome. I usually put like croutons in my tomato soup.
But just like little
tiny grilled cheese sandwiches that you sprinkle into your tomato soup. That is the best I have ever heard.
And I did not come up with that high. That's something normally I was like, well, that's like
That is like stoner talk here.
I trademarked that. If anyone comes up with it, I'm referring back to this podcast. I'm the one who came up with this.
This is on the record.
This is mine.
Today is May 6th, 2022.
Yep.
So what about feng shui? Do you like arrange your house and stuff? This is my last story. This is like the weird. This is just weird. Like arrange your things within the cardinal directions of the earth and.
I've literally got a troll horde sitting behind me, so I don't. Feng shui does not work for me at that point.
Oh my gosh, I've got number 8 here, but I don't see number 8 there. 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to go through all these things. Ah, there it is. A new study explains that just by pointing your bed and other furniture in the right direction can improve your well-being. A team of Maharishi International University students looked at 40 years of research into the practice of Maharishi Vastu architecture, otherwise known as MVA. Whether you call it Zen or flow, they found that where certain objects are positioned within a building, as well as the directions that they face, can impact everything from stress to sleep to mental health. Study authors described MVA as holistic wellness architectural design system, which aligns buildings with nature's intelligence. The results create balanced and integrated living environments that promote general well-being for the people inside. So you walk into this house and all of a sudden you feel fucking better about yourself. You got PTS? Arrange your house like this and you're just going to fucking feel better. My faith in this practice is probably apparent now. According to the study, if your head is facing to the east or the south when you sleep, you're more likely to have a lower heart rate, blood pressure, or cholesterol levels.
Oh, bullshit.
Fucking just turn fucking sideways. You ought to see how I sleep, or you ought to sleep.
My bad. You said that, and I know which way or direction my house is facing, and I sleep east-west, and I got the worst blood pressure on the planet. So that's bullshit, dude.
Which is funny because when I pull into my garage, my GPS says I'm facing south, so I'm north-south. I sleep east-west as well, and I've got the blood pressure thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some fucking truth to this. I don't know.
I don't know. They said it's good for your heart health.
But the thing is, when I sleep, I might start sleeping east-west. But I might wake up in the morning. I might be north-south. I might be, west-east. I might be west-south.
Oh, you got a California king, don't you?
I've got a it's a queen. It's a bigger than queen, smaller than king.
I got
you. Whatever the hell that is. You know what I know? I can't find fucking sheets for it. What I have to do is I have to buy king sheets, cut them, and then hem them, and then sew it up so it fits. Mm. That's what I got. According to the study, if your head is facing to the east or south when you sleep, you're more likely to have a lower heart rate, blood pressure, or cholesterol levels. Meanwhile, people with homes that have an entrance facing south display poorer mental health and have more financial problems. Okay. Yeah, it's because your fucking house is... dude, if you make really bad financial decisions, it doesn't matter which way your house is facing. It's always going to be like that.
I mean, if you own a house, are you making poor financial decisions these days? I mean,
So it sounds like now you might need to bring a compass the next time you want to be looking for a house. No. I'm like throwing the bullshit flag here. Whether you work in an office or in a home, it might also be time to turn your desk around. Researchers also found that facing east while you work leads to greater brain coherence and helps workers complete tasks faster. Some of the principles included in this MVA, which is a Maharishi Vashtu architecture model, say that the building's main entrance should face east or north. Building walls should align with the cardinal directions. The floor plan clearly assigns key functions to the specific locations within the buildings. The floor plan must also allow occupants to face the most ideal directions during work and sleep. If you're sleeping at work, you're not working at my company. And they stress the use of non-toxic natural materials, increased fresh air, and reduced electromagnetic radiation is one of the paramounts of this. So this will never work because I work in a environment that is incredibly encompassed by electromagnetic radiation.
yeah, well, like what if you work in a basement that's surrounded by servers? I guess you're screwed.
Keith says, I'm heading to Home Depot tomorrow to drop a crap load of money on a new door setup to replace my south-facing door entrance.
Yeah, my door faces south too. So yeah, I guess the people that live across the street from me, their doors facing me, they're financially better and more mentally sound than I am.
Let's see. When I pull into my house, I've got a rear-facing garage. My garage is in the back of my house. So there's an alley, and that's from the south to the... No. It's from the north to the south. So I'm facing south when I pull in, which explains why when we have like ice and stuff, and the sun comes out, and everything is happy, everything in Texas never freezes very bad. But the north side of my house, which is where my driveway is, I cannot get up my driveway because the sun never really hits there. So I had to throw out a bunch of sand to get up into my garage.
Keith made a very valid point.
Oh, the huge elbow.
Yeah, what does that explain?
I think this is more of a... Everything is symmetrical. This screams to me symmetrical. It doesn't. I mean,
so these I don't know who'd you say?
The actual name is Maharishi International University.
So I'm just gonna shorten that with Maharishi. What? So everything. Are they just a group of people who are like extremely OCD and everything needs to be just like,
It's a university that they do a lot of things. I think
okay.
Jim Carrey has actually like said some shit about them. Yeah.
So they're like so they're like a Scientology kind of thing.
I don't think so.
I really don't like. I don't think so. I'm word out there because I don't want to catch heat, But
I think there may be some science behind this, but I'm like really like 30-70, like I'm on the 30% side of nah. It's not.
Because they're like throwing astrology and stuff like that picture. I was seeing like the moon, I'm seeing Mars, I'm seeing Saturn. Mercury.
Well, it's just the this is the universe. I don't know. I just grabbed this fucking graphic, man. Don't fucking drag me across the coals.
I was looking at it. I was the one who brought it up. Keith was the one who brought it up. I started looking at the graphic after he mentioned it because at first I was like, okay, I see a square and I see someone throwing an elbow up and I'm seeing some, like scales and stuff like that. So I'm thinking to myself, just like, my brain went somewhere else when I first saw the graphic. I'm just gonna say
it's all symmetry. It's all symmetry.
So
I'm not a symmetrical person.
I believe that whole minimalism thing does help people with their mental health, though.
It does, and I'm kind of a minimalist because I ain't got shit in my house. I've got a lot of room and nothing to do with it, but I'm very minimalist with. There's no clutter. And I love that. I love the no clutter thing.
I live in a troll horde. That's everything's everywhere. I thrive off of chaos, so that's just me. Like I organize chaos is my. But the thing about it is someone were to come in my room.
Keith says he's gonna fucking arm wrestle your house. Maybe I misread that.
Wrestling. It's an arm wrestling challenge, is what it is.
I think he said he wants to arm wrestle your house or our house.
No, I don't know.
All right, dude. What do you say we kind of break our ways and have a great weekend?
Oh yeah, it is that time already, isn't it?
Is it? I have no idea.
It's
we're overtime. Cool.
We're in overtime. I didn't realize that.
I was really wondering, do I have enough material to go 2 hours? I don't know.
Yeah, we did it.
All right, everybody. You have a great weekend, and we're going to be back on Monday with a Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. Wednesday is a Donza, and Thursday we're back with Sergeant's Time. Everyone loves Sergeant's Time. Man, this last Sergeant's Time was awesome. I appreciate everyone being here, and we're going to get out of here, man. Have a great weekend. My name is Kaz Ass Pookie. Woo. Oh, God.
Forgot to push buttons.
Yeah. How do I do that? All right, this is fucked up because...
Don't hit the big red one.
No, I mean, I'm completely unmuted. This ought to go. WTF Nation Radio. This is the voice of WTF Nation Radio. And oh my gosh, why is that not working? This is weird. Put that up. Oh, I found the problem. Okay. Have a great weekend, everyone. We love you.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.